on our 8th BCA Open discussion. That's happening on 15 August
Uh,
2020, which is,
Saurav,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but I think your screen is not visible.
Anybody else can see it?
Yes, I
Jignesh?
can see. I can see.
Yes, I can
Okay.
see.
Okay.
Uh, should I rejoin?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll just start.
Sure, sure.
Okay. So yeah, what I was saying, yeah, 8th BCA Open discussion, and that falls on 15th August 2020, which is India's Independence Day. So everybody listening in, happy Independence Day to everybody. And let's start. So let's talk about participation as we always do. Um, it hardly matters how many people join, at least to me. Even if there is one person, I'm happy to have these sessions. But we are seeing uptick in number of attendees as we go forward. Now, I want to spend a little bit time on what's happening in the world and where else you can, reach out to get more resources. So last week, if you missed it, I shared it on social media, but there's a BC hackathon coming up, and that's free for everybody as far as I remember. You are free to submit the ideas of app that you should be. Wait a minute. Yeah. So you're free to submit your idea if you think that there's something that you want to be part of hackathon. You're also you should go and register on this website, which is https codingforbc.com. There are some great prizes, but I would follow my nav blog on Twitter if you are there to get updates on BC hackathon as it come near in as it finalized and all that happens. But registrations are open, so go ahead and get registered over there. I think it's an opportunity to understand your skill set on Business Central. And I have been part of some hackathons. It's super cool, and there is more details are there on this website, so go ahead and register over there. The next question that I keep on getting on social media is that how do I register for these sessions? So it's pretty simple. On my blog, there is a page specific to this, which is upcoming NAB webinars, and it doesn't only list BC Open discussion, but if there is anything else that I found out which is free and available for everybody, I make sure that I update that link here. But for BCA Open discussions also, you'll see that this link get updated every week. The only thing is the registration ends on Friday because it's all manual, and I need to take the names and then set up meetings and all. So if you want, go there, register before Friday, and then on Friday you'll get an invitation. And then if you have questions, you can use the second link to add your questions so that we discuss it in these meetings. The short URL is this: bit.ly BC Open Discussions. So feel free to join next time if you want, and I hope that saves some of your time and my time on reading those emails about how do I register. So let's now go quickly towards the question that I have received this week, and then if we have time, we'll surely take questions from people available here. So the first question that I had today was from Keshav, and Keshav want to know how you calculate difference between date, time in hours and minutes. Okay. So I don't know, but Keshav, did you be reading or did you search before kind of doing this? Because I remember I had a blog about it in 2016, I guess. So let me share that. Here's the link about that, and I'll put that into the description when I upload it on YouTube, this recording. uh, if I'm not wrong, there should be code at the end, the sample code for this. It's just a date demo where you key in the start date and end date, and it explains everything about how this utility is working. You can read about it here, and then it gives you output something like this: start date time, end date time, and then it gives you results in hour, minute, second, month, quarter, year, everything. So go through that. There are objects on my OneDrive, which now called as OneDrive, and Dynamics user group forum. So have a look, Keshav, and let me know if you have still any questions. I'll be happy to help on that. But I don't know where you use it. This was also came from somebody asking me this question about date calculator. But anybody here in the meeting think how you can use it? I never used it, but I
Hello.
don't think anybody. Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Jignesh.
So I have used this date calculator in one of our customized development.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Just I have one question that can we use this in the BC, because this is based on the .NET variable or something. I I I remember that, but can we use this in the BC online version? That is,
I might have to do some
can we
retweak
use
because
that in Business Central online?
not right now. I'll have to do some tweaking on this before we can use it on BC online. So let me search for it. Let me do some research, and if required, I'll make an update on the tool to make it available on Business Central. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll take a note and I'll make sure that I try doing this so that we can use it on Business Central versions. Okay, coming back to our questions that we had. The next is from Sahid, and Sahid, you are here. And your question was around, if I'm not wrong, it was for Business Central 14 that you'd like to replace the existing purchase order report with your custom developed report for purchase orders with below condition that you have a field order type in purchase order where the values are 1, 2, and 3. And if order type is 1, then call report 50,001, 2, and 3, like this. So as you said, Business Central 14, and I don't think about only about Business Central 14, but whenever I think about a customization now, I think about, is it possible to make it available for the future? And that's very important. So let's talk about it here, if I have it. And Shahid, let me know if you get lost at any point. This is Business Central 14 purchase
And
order page.
I mean, just before sharing, can I add additional 2 or 3 points?
Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I tried it in with AL code, and I replaced the existing purchase order with the, writing a code unit and replacing the, report management code unit. And that's working fine. So existing report changed with a new report, but my problem is that there is another report, so I need to conditionally replace that.
Understand that. So maybe this is how I think, and then maybe this will help you in thinking about these changes in future. So it was not a big deal to start with to kind of figure this out. But as you said, Business Central 14, I didn't kind of wrote this in AL. But the way I will approach this in Business Central 14 is I'll go into the purchase order page on the print action, click on F9 and try to find a event there. So when I come here, I see that something is happening and then a function is being called print records. So let's go into it till the point we find a logical event that we need. So when I went inside that function, which is on purchase header table, I see that there is another function called try send print printer vendor. Let's go there. When I go in there, I still don't see an event, but I see that there is a dialog box message that is based on user selection. And then it says send to printer vendor. Okay, let's go in there. When I come here, I see no other options, but then at last I see a function call on report selection. So let's go there. So when I come here, I see that there is a on before print with GUI, yes or no vendor. And then there is this event is kind of a spatial event. And if you don't know about this, I find this interesting, and I think anywhere Microsoft writes event between the code, they should use this handled pattern. Because the sweet part here is, if you go to this event, you'll see that this handled is passed as a reference in this event publisher. And then as soon as the calling of this subscriber for this event will complete, it says if handled, then exit. That means after this, whatever lines of code will be, they will not get executed. So if you set this to true, Microsoft will assume that you are handling rest of the process by yourself, and Microsoft have to do nothing. And this is what, Sahid, you needed. That somehow I should have control on printing of my purchase order reports. Okay. So now I know that this event exists on table 77. And this event I need to pass, once I'm done with everything, I need to pass my handled as true so that Microsoft code does not execute. So let's come out. And then just for demo purposes, I created these 3 reports, which are just copy of base Microsoft report. I haven't changed anything on those reports. They are tagged as 60,001 and 2. And as you wanted, I have added that field here, order type, which is tagged as blank option 1, 2, and 3. So now let's see my subscriber if I can. Yeah. So here is the code. And I'll delete anything which is not required. I was trying something else. What I'm doing is I'm subscribing to the same function as we said. And then the first thing that I do whenever I subscribe to an event is check for situation where I don't want to call the subscriber. And if I find those situations, I want to go out. And the reason is that if there are 20 subscribers to a function, all of them will be called. So to increase the performance, to save time in execution of those code, I always prefer to find out the situations where I don't need to run my code. And if they don't match, then I exit it. So here what I'm doing is I'm checking that I don't know where all this function is being called. I'm checking that is this record that is being printed is from purchase header, is actually pointing to the purchase header, because the function is called as vendor print. So it might be used somewhere else and I don't know about it. So how I do that? There's a code unit 701 which gets your what we call that record variant that is available in this event, and gives you the record ref in return. And then using the record ref, I check the number, and if it is not matching to the purchase header table, then I come out. That I don't have to do anything. It's not something that I need. If that check is pass, then I check for is that report that is being sent from that event. If it is not purchase order, then I don't want to do anything. It can be purchase invoice, it can be credit memo, it can be other things. So that's my second exit statement. So if both of these conditions meet, then I assign that variable which is passed as variant, record variant, into my purchase header, and then I do my normal case statement of my purchase header order type. The first thing I say is if order type is blank, then don't do anything, give control back to Microsoft and let them run it. If it is 1, then run report 60,002, 60,001, 3, 60,002, and pass handled true, which means Microsoft, you don't have to do anything. I have handled the situation. All right, does that make sense?
Yes, yes, but the problem is that I'm using actually AL.
Yeah, so this will work on AL. That's the beauty of it, that I'm using even subscriber. I can convert this code to AL as it is. There's no problems.
Okay.
Okay, so let's quickly check it before we move out of it, and you can surely test this code in AL. That's not a problem. So we're doing it on purchase order. So let's pick one where my option field is set to blank, let's say. So when my order type is set to blank, the base Microsoft report should run. That's my first test if I want to test it. So when I click on print, the report that get loaded, sorry, it's going on my other monitor all the time, is 1322, which is base Microsoft report in the report selection purchase. If I change this to option 1 and then try to print it, the layout, the request page will look same, but it's actually my report 60,000. If I change it to option 3, then it should be my last report in my set, which is 60,002. So you can, you just, whenever you are doing anything on AL or CAL with eventing, you need to look for the right event that will do what you want to do. So Shahid, does that make sense?
Yeah, I will try actually. I mean, as I was writing code in AL, so I need to do this in and then need to convert. I will try.
Yeah, so you will find the same event. This is the event in your AL code. When you look for an event on report selection table, you'll find this event. And I don't have my VS code open, otherwise I would have shown you. So let's see if time permits at the end, we can surely see it.
Okay, okay. I have one related question. Can I, or later I will do?
Let's do later. Let's go through everybody's question. Anybody else
Okay.
have any questions around it? I guess no. So let's move ahead. So the next question was from Manish, and Manish and me talked about it before everybody joined about
Right.
custom message on the PO. And let me see if I have my business center loaded somewhere. Refresh. Okay. So I would like to understand, Manish, what is the requirement of putting a custom message? As in, what is the business requirement behind it, so that I can answer it correctly?
Okay. So what exactly customer wants that while sending the mail, So he has his custom fixed body. So while sending a mail, he just need to add or remove some of the text during sent mail.
Is it for everybody or is it for some specific customers that they have or
No,
vendors that
no,
they have?
no, no. Every time, it depends upon their call that whether they want to add something in the mail body, or they can just simply remove, or they can do nothing, just send it. So they want that body to be editable.
They want that body to be editable. Okay. And that changes based on the conversation that they had with their vendors before they
Right,
place the
right.
order.
That's correct. That's correct.
That's interesting. Mm, so shouldn't you be adding a comment field or maybe utilizing the work description field to key in those comments in the document itself and then add that in your layout if you want?
Okay. That
You
I
know
haven't
what
thought
I'm
of.
saying.
Yes.
So
Yes. I can
if you go
put forward this.
yeah, so if you go on your sales, and I'm not sure about the purchase, but I think it should be there. There is a blob field on the header of your documents called where is that, work description. Now
Okay.
here they can type free text, which is, let's say, based on our discussion, this order will be delivered on certain day. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Okay.
while creating your word layout, or while creating your report, first you can convert this to a text in your code and then use that in your word layout to convert it
Yes.
or add that into the notes.
Yeah, I can use that in custom layout. Yeah.
Because the thing is that what you see on the screen is
Mm-hmm.
a HTML reader. It's not a text box where that text is coming on. So it's a
Okay.
HTML reader that pops up when you say send email.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's where it's not possible to customize it when it's generated, but you can
Okay.
surely utilize this work description to to use this and then add that into the email body.
Surely, surely. I'll suggest that.
That makes sense.
Right.
Anything else on this one?
No. No, sir.
Okay, sounds good. And started raining here, so let me move to the next question. And this is from Nikita, and she's saying that where I can find NavBC functional stuff by me to improve my functional skills. And in most of your sessions, you are discussing about technical front only and not functional. Oh, so Nikita, I know functional as much as I can cause harm. To tell you the truth, I learn functional aspect of Business Central based on when I customize it. So the style that I follow is if I have to customize the purchase area and that I never have learned, so then I'll spend some time on understanding how that purchase process behaves in Business Central or Dynamics Nav. But I know that little. I'm super bad on certain areas like finances and jobs. They are, or in, when you go deep into inventories and all, that's where I have experience which can cause harm. So I I prefer not to talk about functional more or less, and I don't know when I'll be doing it. So if there is a specific thing that you have in your mind, let me know. I can surely look into that area, but I guess that's the only answer that I can give on that. I i would not be able to be open to talk about functional stuff without learning them. But yeah, if you want any specific area that I can learn and then talk about it, I'll be happy to. So yeah, let me know either via the same question forum or maybe send me an email, and I can surely work toward it if I have some time. So that was an interesting question. Never thought about functional stuff. But okay, moving ahead. This is, I guess, the last question for today. And this is about, does BC support access files from shared path programmatically? And anyone on Business Central scenario before? We are trying to access files from Azure file storage from BC VS Code, but running into authentication errors. Okay, I haven't tried it on SAS, but I think in the last meeting I shared a link from one of the fellow MVP, Stefano, about the Azure file share, and I'm pretty sure it talks and it works in your VS Code. I don't know who had that question last time. Is that person here? I'm not sure who had that last time. But I see that code here in in AL in VS Code. Vidya, what I would suggest is give it a try. If it doesn't work, let me know.
I
I
did the question last time.
Oh, you did, and you tried it?
No, I did not try it. I will try differently. Actually, I did not follow the mechanism. I found another one, another example. So I will try, but
Okay.
I did not tried it.
Can you share that other example in the chat? Maybe that will help Vidya because she's not here.
Yeah, after doing, I will share.
Okay, not a problem. So yeah, Vidya, as in Sahith will be trying another method, but this is one of the method that I found. He also referred about this method on his book about mastering Business Central. So I'll surely go through this process, and if it doesn't help, let me know. We can surely talk about it if you get stuck somewhere. So that was more or less questions that I had for today. So maybe I'll open it for question and we'll go from bottom to up. Let me see where my chat is. Here it is. Okay. So Tanya, how are you? And is there anything that we can help you together? And Tanya, if you're speaking, you're mute. Okay. So maybe we'll come back to her later. Shahid, you had some questions, I guess. Yes, Shahid, I see your hand raised, but can you unmute yourself and talk?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
So, firstly, I will request you, to generate the same code for AL, what you did just a few minutes before. And my question is, I like to call a report from, form, the page. So when I call the report, I like to pass the parameter as well from page. You pass, you call the report selection page, parameter selection page, but I like to pass the parameter as well from form.
What parameter?
Like for purchase order, order number, and then
So then first you need to
this value you passed, this order type.
so understand this from this perspective. If you are trying to modify the custom process, okay, sorry, if you're trying to modify the base Microsoft process, then you cannot pass variables within that process because those events are already written by Microsoft. If you have to run a separate report, which is a custom report that you have built and you have added it into the page, then you can surely create a global function, or now we call them external function in your report, where you can pass your parameters that you want and then set them to the global variable. But you can't do it within the base Microsoft process the way we were doing it, because
So what I did, I share. Actually, I created a extension in purchase header, and I added actions.
mm-hmm.
Actions there, and actions was on report. So in report, there is separate actions like print purchase order.
Mm-hmm.
So in purchase order, it's running the report, no problem. But I'm unable to pass the parameters, the default parameters like order number, and this order type value by default.
I know there is a way, and I have used it so many times. I might need to find you a base Microsoft report where they do it. So the way it happens is you create a function or a procedure in your report which is marked as global or external, and that takes your values as parameters and then assigns it to the global variables in that report. So I might have to find one base Microsoft report where you can see it, but that's possible. If it's your custom report which you're directly calling from the page, that's not a problem. That surely is possible. Okay, so I may write a blog about it if you want, and then you can go through those steps. That's not a problem.
Please, it will be very helpful because I am stuck on that. I mean, this passing parameters, because it's opening the report, but it's not getting the default order number and others. So customer need to give manually. That's not good.
Okay, but if it is just the order type, sorry, order number and all, that should be passed because it's based on the first data item of your report. If it is same to the page from where you are calling it, then that works as it is. As in, you don't have to do anything extra if it is only order number that you're talking about.
No, order number and that this type.
Okay, yeah, that's not a problem. I think that's possible. Okay, I'll surely write about it of passing parameters to a report. Anything else, Sahid?
No, and please add in AL code.
Add in AL. Okay, AL. Okay, Tanya, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, hello sir, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So yes, last time I did ask a question around the users, right? Super user and everything. So I just wanted to let everybody know regarding this. What I missed last time was that I was using the license, which is basically under the license guide, IWS. That is for the trial version. But then still I am not sure how to create a user with super rights, with even if I have the license for there are two license, there are three license basically. So the essential one says that you if you have that license you can create a user, but I still don't know on the SaaS version how to create a user with the super rights, even if I have the license. For the first time when I was trying, I was using the IWS, which was trial version. So, but then now I've requested my new license, and let's see where can I get to creating a user on SaaS version, because I really searched around a lot that how to create a user there, but I didn't ended up well. So yeah, this was my concern
Okay.
this time.
So I actually, did my research, talked to some people, found it out, but I forgot who asked that question. So sorry for that.
That's
But the person who is trying to assign those permissions or adding the users
mm-hmm.
should have the license type of team member license. That's what
Okay.
I found out for somebody. I haven't tried it, but that's what the information is. And the person that told me, that lady works all the time in SaaS. So I can be 95+% sure on her answer.
So are they not licensed for this? Like essential. The one I know is essential, business central, dynamics business central, premium plan, and this is the essential plan.
Right. Oh, sorry. Just the license type. Does the user have the team member license?
Team
So
member.
team member is for. So what is your license type?
Mine is right now what I have requested them for the essential one.
Then you should be with the essential one. You should be.
So how do I create? So on prem, I know I can do the SQL query and I can create. There's a script going on prem. What do I do in SaaS? Matlab, I
Right.
can. So yeah, that's what on prem is comfortable,
So
but
in
I
in
don't know.
in SaaS, if I
Let's say I just
so
have one. I am the super admin right now. I want to add you as well, and I want to give you the super rights, whatever I have. So how do I do that? I don't know.
so first in SaaS, you only can add users from your AD, right? Active
Yeah,
Directory
yeah,
that you
yeah,
have.
yeah.
So you can find that there. And now about the permissions. So yeah, the reply that that person gave me is just check that the person who is trying to use it, does the user have a team member license? I might need to go and ask
Team member.
about it more.
Okay. So that's
So
a
the
new
team member
like.
license is,
Is there
let's
something
search
new?
for it as we have time a little bit. Business central license type. I'm bad with licenses as an.
Same, yeah, same. Yeah. I didn't know about even I didn't know about IWS. That is for trial. That's why last time I
So
added the question and then
these are different: essential, premium, team members, and external account. Okay.
there's the team
And I
member.
guess team member only have permission to read certain tables and not all of it.
So I recently requested them for the essential one. Team member license. The user still.
So who is the CSP? As in you don't need to tell here, but CSP should be able to help you, right? As in
Yeah,
the
that
partner
I
who is
contacting. Yeah,
administrator.
I contacted them as well. So yeah, they were. I requested for that. I only requested. They didn't, but I requested for the essential one because I know that yeah, essential one does has the capability of adding the users. But then again, I thought, what about the super one? I want the super rights. And I am just now seeing the team member, something called team member as well, external accountant.
The team member had some limitation. I before I say anything, I should know about it. Create user according to your license. Okay, here it is. For more information, see the business central content. So if I see this, it says managing user and license in online deployment. To add a user and
Yeah,
it
I ended up here as well.
change the assigned license for a user. Okay. Yeah, so also check that the person that you're trying to give, what is his license type. So
Okay.
it's per user wise that which type of user it is. So if
So
you
if
see
I'm
here,
the
you
first,
need to change the license type.
what if I'm the first person to enter SaaS environment? So how do I get to know that? Okay, I have the super rights, or this guy who is the one who needs to actually give the rights?
CSP, your CSP gets an administrator account on your tenant,
Okay. Okay.
and then he or she adds users.
And then they also add the licensing part there.
No, so as this article is saying, and I'll only rely on this right now, is that you may need to change the license that is assigned to a user. So that is per user wise. There are different type of licenses that he or she
Mm-hmm.
can have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then therefore need to upgrade all essential license to premium, or if a user is responsible has changed on the team member to essential. So it's user based that which user have which type of license. So you can change it from sign in as administrator, and then restore user group default action. Manish, you have any idea? You have SaaS customers. You have any idea about adding users?
Uh, no, sir. Actually, I request to the person admin team. They used to do that.
Okay. Get users from Office 365, update user from here, restore default update.
So this question is related to adding users in the Dynamic 365 online voice.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can do that using that admin center, business center
Admin
admin center.
center.
Okay.
Okay.
So there we can add a number of users. So actually, I have one question on that one. That's why I'm telling this. Actually, previously we created yesterday only I created one of the sandbox for my French country. So I want to add multiple users for that sandbox actually. So I created some of the users for that.
But then are you able to change the permissions in the
Yes,
business center?
yes. From the admin center, I can change my permissions.
But for the admin center, if you are giving the licensing and so permission set, okay, I will recheck it again. If they are the permission set we can give from the admin, I'll go through it
Yeah,
again. Okay.
yeah. And regarding this one, actually, so my question here it is, can I raise my question now?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So actually, first I created one account. So in that account, I published my app actually. So later I added my users. I added two more users. But when the users logged in with their respective credentials, they are not able to see that extension app which I published.
They can't see
The
in
user
the
form.
client.
Yeah, in the client. And
Okay.
I went to my admin center. I given the full permissions to my users. I made them as admin also.
So two things, as in it can be related to your app. That's the first thing. Or the second thing
Okay.
is can be related to your app permissions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So whenever,
So
and this may be, go ahead.
yeah, if you want to give my app availability for all my users, so is there anything to do in the app publishing wise, or do we have to specify in the app code wise?
So there are, yeah, that's what I was coming to. As an, I was talking to Manish before we started this meeting, that
Yeah.
writing code in VS code or in AL is not just the code that you have to write.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is every extension should also have, and this is specific to your point, should
Mm-hmm.
should have the permissions that are required for that extension.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you write your extension, you should have a permission.xml inside this, which covers
Yeah.
your objects which are part of your extension.
Yes.
Okay. If you have those, they will be available into the page called permission sets.
Yeah.
Okay. And they will be tagged as extension, type extension.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how the visibility of any actions in the client happens was changed in nav 2015, and I'm pretty sure it's same till now. So
Mm-hmm.
as in on-prem, what we have as you know, as partners or customers, that on our service tier we can
Mm-hmm.
define UI element removal, and there are three options there: none,
Mm-hmm.
license file, and license file and user permission. So by
Mm-hmm.
default, the option is selected as license file and user permission.
Okay.
So when you think about SaaS, this will be set to this value, which is license file and user permission,
Okay.
which means that if user permissions are not assigned for that particular page, he or she will
Mm-hmm.
not be able to see that object in the client.
Mm-hmm.
So the first part is that when you write your extension, you should have permission in that app also, so that when you publish that app, that permission
Mm-hmm.
automatically get added into the permission set page.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now they are part of your tenant. Now once they are part of
Mm-hmm.
your tenant, and this can be a little bit different because this is on-prem Docker. When you go to
Mm-hmm.
your users, now it's very simple, as in there should be a page somewhere. Is it Windows? No, user group. You come down permissions. So you will actually, you should not do it from here, but yeah, you can actually try adding that extension permission to that user here, and then he should be able to see it. Otherwise there should be a page, something called as permission set by user, I guess. Permission set by user. So in that case, what happens is this is showing you all the permission set that you have, and then you can assign it directly from here to one specific user. In this columns you will see all the usernames, or you can just click on this button if you want to assign it to all users. In that way, that get
Okay.
assigned to all the users of that permission. So let's assume ADCS all is your extension permission, and you want everybody to have it, so you can come here and say it for all users, and then that will get automatically added to their permission set windows on the user permission window. Sorry,
Okay.
does that make sense?
Yeah, somewhat. But I need to dig into that actually.
Yeah, so first make sure that you are seeing it because you are super
Yeah.
and you have all the permissions. But me,
Yeah.
the if you can see it, then it's more or less around that permission is not assigned to the user. The second
Mm-hmm.
thing about the app development, which I think everybody will know, that any any object that you are building which is supposed to be seen outside of which will be visible on the client, like report or page, you need to make
Mm.
sure that it have application area property set,
Yeah.
Okay.
right? Application area hash all is kind of mandatory to show that. And then there is one other property called users category. So
Mm-hmm.
based on these two property combination, users category and application area, the page is searchable and visible on the modern client. So that property, users category property, applies for new objects only, like pages and reports, whereas the application area property goes down till each field level. So whenever you write a page extension or a page, the application area need to be tagged on each and every object,
Yeah.
or each and every field, sorry. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
But because you can see it, I'm pretty sure it's not the application area, because if you can see it as a super user in the client and search for your pages and reports, then I don't think it's the property. It can only be simple like that permission is not assigned.
Yeah.
So can I add something on this?
Go ahead, Daniel.
The thing you just showed on the screen, this page, permission set. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see it again?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. There is one permission set called D365 extension management. What just sir asked the sir asked that he's not, some the users are not able to see. This really happened with me, but I got resolved by this D365. There is one if you see, yeah, this one, extension management. I gave this the properties, and they were able to see those,
Okay.
Hmm.
this
That's
D365.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this happened with
I.
me yesterday. Yes, not yesterday, days before. So this is one property I got to know. Sorry, the permission, which is
Yeah.
you need to look for this. Maybe see, this is the one area, published application
Oh
object.
yeah, this is all read only kind of permissions, right? And
Yeah,
that makes sense because then you can read the content of. extension tables.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Thanks, Tanya. I will check that also.
Yeah, thanks,
So
Tanya. I didn't knew about it, so that'll help me
yeah,
someday in future.
let's see it if actually does or not, because it helped me. So I don't know actually if it is the right thing. So it just hit me that there is one permission set I actually need to enable it once I do this.
So yeah, we'll know from Srinivas next week how it worked.
Actually,
Can I
I'm
comment
also new to this one. I tried yesterday also only. As per my requirement, I did that one.
Srinivas,
So that
everybody
I
is new.
faced that
Don't
problem.
worry.
Yeah.
Everybody is new. No worries.
Okay, can I ask another
Go ahead.
question as well? Uh,
Go ahead.
so basically, we are on the sales order page right now, and there is one field called the address, and there is another. When you scroll down, there is a ship to code. Ship
Okay.
to code. So what I want to do is I want to make the default address to ship to code. I don't want to use the actual what nav uses it. Ship to code is one address section where other than the actual address you have, you can ship to the other address as well. But nav has it one proper okay, what do you say, that one proper address you need to fill in. There's one ship to code. So I wanted to make that ship to code a default address for nav. Can I do that actually, or is there a way to do it?
Default address as in I'm
So can you scroll up? There is a sales
okay.
order. Uh,
Tanya, you want to make billing address as the default also in the shipping, like that?
billing, not the billing thing, but what? How should I say it? There is an address option here. Yeah, this address, pin code, zip code. So I don't want to use this address. I want to use the ship to code address. I want to make that ship to code the default one.
So whenever you create a new sales order, and I'm just trying to understand that,
Yeah, yeah.
am I understanding it correctly or not? Whenever I create a new sales order for this customer, you want these field to get the value from the default ship to address for 30,000 or
Yeah,
3,000,
yeah, yeah,
30,000.
yeah.
Hmm.
But in this case, we may have multiple addresses in the ship to code level. So which one we need to show? That is also one
There,
question there.
I guess there is one default one, right? I guess that's what Tanya is saying. So
Yeah.
let's see there on the
But I
customer.
cannot just in nav I'm talking about right now 2018. Yeah, I'm talking about that. I cannot just go in and comment those the code there, the default that is running behind it. So I need to know that is there a way we can do it, or is it a proper way in fact? Because I was a bit dicey. Can we do it, or this is the right implementation I'm thinking of?
I don't understand it. That is it actually the code that you should look for, or is it actually the data cleanup that customer want to do on the customer card?
So what is happening right now that they have two address basically. They have in the customer card as well. There is the address is there. When you go on the sales order, you type the name and the address pops up, right? There
Mm-hmm.
they have the address, and then they have the other table where the ship to code is coming from.
It's a
There's
base
another table
table,
for
right?
that.
Or
Yeah.
custom table.
Can you go back to yeah,
So
this is nav,
like
right?
ship to address is this table, right? Where there are
Yeah,
two
yeah,
addresses right now.
yeah.
But as Srinivas was asking, there are multiple one. So which one you expect system to pick? There can be multiple one, as in
Multiple as in okay,
for each
these
customer.
multiple
There can,
addresses. Okay, okay,
yeah.
okay. So
So the idea is that I am a customer. Okay,
okay.
like think about any website that you use for buying stuff, like Amazon.
Right.
I have, let's say, I have a Prime account, and for some offer or some quick delivery, my brother want to use it who lives in Delhi.
Right.
So I can just go into my Amazon account and add his address as one of my ship to address. Now,
Right.
while I'm purchasing anything, I can choose that address, and the
Mhm.
shipment will go there.
Right.
right? So if I open my Amazon, I have 20 address right now. So when I buy stuff, I decide where I want to ship it. In the same way, in NAV or Business Central, as a customer, you can have 10 or 20 or n number of ship to address. And Srinivas, I guess this is what you're saying, right? Trying to say.
Exactly, exactly.
I got,
Yeah.
yeah. Even I got it.
So even if they want to do that, which one they
Mm-hmm.
want to pick? As in, maybe you want a customization where you want to say that I'll add a field, say this is my default address, like you have in Amazon, right? That this is my default one, and these are my alternate ones.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is it actually the customization you are looking for, or you want them to clean up the data in their customer table, as in you can, or customer record, that if they want that address to be correct on the sales order, they should be coming here and correcting the data here, because it's
Yeah,
coming from here and going there, right?
exactly. The
Now
data is
you,
basically on the customer card, right?
yeah, and you actually as a developer can help them in writing a script which can clean this up from ship to address, or from somewhere else they want to bring it, or maybe use rapid start to update this data. So that's why I said why they need it, because until unless you
Mm-hmm.
know why they need it,
Why they need
you
it, right?
might end up doing something wrong as a customization which may not help them.
Yeah, exactly.
So think about it, maybe
Yeah,
talk to them what they
yeah.
need and then
What they
understand.
actually need, yeah. Because there are multiple addresses for them, for which one they want the default, right? The main
Yeah.
thing comes here. Yeah.
And even if they want default, I would rather go and change it on customer, so that you don't have to call that custom code every time.
Every time. You just
As in, you
make
can
the
do it, but is it, do they understand that the sales order gets its address from the customer card? And
and what
maybe
if
they don't know it.
yeah. And what if in the customer card they want, not on the sales order?
In the customer card, they
Yeah.
want to kind of correct their addresses.
Yeah. Yeah.
The simple way I'll do it is I'll create a rapid start package based on this table using number and all the address field that they need, dump
Mm-hmm.
it out into Excel, also take the data from ship to address table out, and then
Mm-hmm.
update it into Excel, and then push it back to Nav, so that it gets updated. There can be other ways, like you can temporarily add a boolean on your ship to address table that this is my default, and then write a script to copy that data from ship to address to the customer. But that's just one time, you know.
That is one time, right? Every
Yeah.
time
So
you cannot do that.
as in, you can on sales order if you want, you can. I'm pretty sure you can. But do they actually need it? Identify that.
Yeah, I will surely. I will handle it. So this, yeah,
Yeah,
this will help me to narrow down things easily.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
I want to
Yeah.
add some
Go ahead.
mention of this. Yeah, so generally we can see that in general scenario, so if we create any customer wise, we should have a billing and we should have a shipping address. So,
Right.
Yeah.
but in the NAV or Business Central wise, what I observed it is we can create shipping addresses. Means shipping address is identified by using its code, but billing address we can't identify that. Why? Because there is no code available for the billing address.
Billing address.
Is it true? Because there is a bill to customer, which can be different from sell to customer.
But sell to customer, bill to customer, both are the similar only.
Not all the time. You can set it up. I don't exactly remember where. Let me see. But that's might be answering Nikita's question that I don't know functional. But I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that there is a way that you can have a different shipping and bill to customer. Let me see.
I will tell my scenarios what how we are doing this case actually. So when we are creating a customer in the Navision or the business central environment, so actually we are in the integration domain, not we are in the main coding of BC and Navision. So what we are doing it is we are explicitly creating the same address what we are creating in the customer level, the same copy we are creating in the shipping addresses also. Suppose if I create a customer X, if I created some address one, So at the
Mhm.
creation of the time, we are creating the same copy in the shipping addresses also. So at that time, what will happen?
Yeah.
It is creating a code also, right?
Yeah.
That thing
Yeah.
we are doing.
Sell to customer and bill to. I'm just searching for something, but yeah. Okay, yeah, and as an, I'll wait. We'll talk about it. But Manish or Jignesh, you guys have any questions? As in, we keep on talking about it. But
Uh, Saurabh, just to add on this, that yeah, we can bill to another customer. I think we have an option in the invoicing tab. If you can just elaborate that, we can have an option there, the bill to.
yeah, as in on the sales order, you are saying, right?
Yes, on the sales
Yeah,
order.
that's what I was
We
saying.
have
That
that.
yeah, on the sales order time, like you do it on, kind of. I keep giving example of Amazon, that when you want to send a gift to someone, you don't want them to see the invoice of it. So you can actually invoice it to a different address
Right.
uh, than the shipping address. So in the same way, if Srinivas, as you said that you are not from Nav or Business Central, there are actually two addresses on your sales order, which can be different. Like here is your, where is that? Let me see.
Bill to over there.
Yeah, here, bill to. Now this defines where is your bill to is. Is it another customer? Is it a customer address? So you can choose another customer for billing of this order. Like I can say that the bill to is 20,000, and then all the transactions will happen around this. That this is another customer, which is bill to, and then your ship to is coming default from sell to.
Here my question it is bill to means another customer. So from where it is taking that data, that another customer
No,
data.
it's just showing you all the records of all the customers, not doing any filtering.
But here in the sales database, it was filled some data, na?
Sorry.
It selected one of the customer actually,
Yeah, so
but
I
no
looked
details.
on it and I clicked on it. So if I choose
Okay.
30,000, let's say, and save, change it. So now it's billing to 30,000. So let's,
Okay. Yeah.
I in my brain, I think about it like this, and I always take real life example to make it remember to myself. I always think on this example like big bazaars. Okay. Big bazaar
Okay.
want to ship, uh, let's say, a particular item to the location that they have in Dehradun at my place. But they
Mm.
want the invoice to go to their head office in Mumbai.
Yeah.
So in that situation, they'll change the bill to address, or the invoice should be paid from the Mumbai location. So they want to change the bill to their Mumbai customer in this case, as in the
Yeah.
vendor will select that. The vendor will say that okay, ship to is going to Dehradun, but bill to is going to Mumbai. And
Yeah.
when they post this transaction, those entries will be created accordingly.
Yeah.
So I'll say try it out, as in that's something surely to try.
Yeah. So, and to extend for Tanya's question, I think Tanya's requirement wise, they are also expecting the default shipping address in the billing address level for the sales order. So at that time, I am thinking like, so if you can keep any one of the field in the addresses level, which one is the shipping address or which one is the default one. So based on that one, we can populate that easily. I am thinking like that actually.
So yeah, let Tanya go back, maybe talk to customer.
Yeah.
We meet every week, let's let's not create assumptions and come to a right conclusion or to a right solution as we figure out more details around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll surely try post on document with a different sell to and build to. I know I have done it in past, but I forgot. So maybe I'll try it after this call and see how it works financially, or
So
where these
one more
transactions happen.
question.
Go
from
ahead.
my end, one more question. Suppose yet initially if I created one sandbox account for my US, so there is one option is there like my settings there. So in that my settings, I can change my region like from US to like some Nigeria, some other region I can change. So if I change that one, so that my entire database structure will be changed accordingly, or it will be just an option to change that one.
Region.
Because
Understand.
Microsoft is giving country support for. Suppose if I want US country, I need to take a US US Docker related thing. If I want some Denmark, I want to take my Denmark image file. So like that, we have the differentiation in the Docker file. So what will happen if you can take a Denmark image? It will build on the Denmark database structure. If I take US Docker image, it will build on the US structure actually. So like that, if I'm going to my online instead of my Docker images, so there is an option like changing the region. So if I change that region, is my entire US structure will be converted or it will be navigate to the Denmark way? Or that
No,
question I have actually. That's some confusion.
no. So understand it from the perspective of how the product is built. Our product, either Dynamics Nav, and I'm pretty sure about Business Central more or less, is that all these countries that you talked about where Business Central is available, they all have their own source code which is different from another country. So I might have a slide deck that I created way early in my career. If I find it, let me see for it while we are talking about it. But the way it works is that the first product that Microsoft built on every version is the W1, which is worldwide
Yes,
one.
worldwide. Yes, correct.
Okay. On worldwide, consider these localizations as customization on top of W1. So like you
Okay.
talked about US, India, Denmark, New Zealand, Australia, any other country. They have
Yeah,
their own specific local features which are around your taxes, your regulatory fixes, and things like that.
correct.
But you can't have both of them in one database because there is a fixed range on which Microsoft does the localization. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
let me see if I find my article about Business Central, Dynamics Nav numbering pattern. If I have it somewhere. I'm not
Actually,
looking at it.
to get the confirmation on this one only, what I did it is I created one more sandbox on the French actually. So on the French country wise I created. So what happened it is the company changed like Kronos FR. So generally we'll see that Kronos USA or Kronos Canada. But when I did that one, the company came like Kronos FR. It was came like that.
Okay, so yeah, what I was talking about is this. So this is the object IDs that Microsoft uses for the localization. Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't think that behind the scene your whole baseline of the product is changing. If you are on US, even if I change my region to Hindi or India, it will not it cannot go back and change it to Indian, because
Yeah.
all the localization that exists with Microsoft product are within this range. So like
Yeah.
GST also remains within this land, either it's from India or from Australia, and US tax or US VAT also lives within this range. And I
Yeah.
have done projects in past in Dynamics Nav where customer wanted to merge two localization, which is a nightmare to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
then you understand that it is not possible, technically possible, to merge two localization into one database because everything lies between this range and they overlap. In most
Okay.
of the cases, they overlap. So when I'm looking on this, and you can always click on this, it says it will change the date, the numeric format based on what region you selected. So like we talk, in dots, and some country talks in commas instead of dot. We use
Yes.
date, month, year. Somebody use year, month, date. Those settings are getting changed when you change your region.
Mm-hmm.
Regional
Okay.
settings like date and
Okay.
numeric formats on all your devices. Okay. Language
Okay.
changes what is the caption on these areas, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, like how number is being called in French if you choose it to French.
Yeah, yeah, that is for localization. Exactly.
Right. That's just for the captions of these fields, not the data. And I keep on saying captions, which is this, as in if you change the language, this area will change, not this. This will remain as it is. The data is not going to change. The only
Yeah,
captions will change. And that's also based on if you have a caption ML defined while you are, or now they are called as
correct,
translation file. If they are
correct,
defined while you are building your extension.
exactly.
Okay.
And
Anything else? Good.
yeah, sir. So suppose I have US. So in the region, suppose I selected some Nigeria thing. So you are telling that. So based upon the selection, like that numbers and number differentiation, like from dot to comma. So that differentiate will happen like that you are telling. So if I
Right.
build my app on like suppose in the decimal points on the dots wise. So if I change the region for commas region, then this will affect my app also, right?
It may affect your app, and I have seen the situation where these apps may fall, and you'll have to handle it in your code. You'll have to handle it, and I'm pretty sure Microsoft is using it somewhere in the base code so that these problem does not occur.
Hmm.
So whenever you are building app, this is the sweet part here, is whenever you are building app, you can't be specific to a customer, you can't be specific to a region. You need to be very open about users that can use that app. It can be anywhere in the world who will be using your app,
Yeah.
and your app should be able to support that area, region, or the settings that region uses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of thinking before you start actually writing your app. I feel so now, at least.
Yeah, yeah, that's why in the app source publishing wise also they are specifically asking which country you are giving this app support. So they are
Yes.
asking that thing actually.
Right. Okay, anything
So,
else, guys?
Hello.
sorry for one more
Hello.
question. So last time we discussed about like encryption, like how cryptography will work in the business central. Yeah,
Right.
so you showed something on the business central on-premise wise to get the key and then encryption data and how to decrypt the data. Enter, we see that one. So, but when I tried the same thing on the online wise, so I am unable to get that key actually. So by default, those two are enabled actually. That encryption is enabled in the business central online. I'm able to get that encrypt method and I'm able to get the decrypt method. But if I want to get that key, that option is not available for me. So is there any possibility for that?
I'll check maybe first with my. I don't think that they should make it enable when you create a new database. Uh, but yeah, I'll check with them. Otherwise, there should be an option to reset it and set it back, right?
In that
Because
scenario, also key they are not providing actually. Why?
oh,
Because my scenario, my requirement is I want to pass my key to my third party from another system also. So from there, I want to access this. So address in our key is compulsory for me. So that I am unable to get from my online. In on-prem, I am able to get that.
that's interesting. I might have to spin up a Docker for SAS sandbox and then check it, because I haven't tested it. I guess I'm super behind in SAS with you guys also, so I'll have to learn SAS more and more. Yeah, I guess Jignesh, you had something. Sorry, you were saying something. We cut you off.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one question, that
Go ahead.
if I'm having a business central and I am writing one code unit, in that code unit there are like more than like 50 subscriber event I'm using as a in the whole my customized event in a database for one
Mm-hmm.
client. I'm subscribing more than 50 events.
Mhm.
So in that code unit, which I'm adding this 50 subscriber event, should I uh, make a single instance code unit, or not making a single instance? What is the difference if I'm making that code unit to single instance? Will affect in our performance or not?
So I don't know which style you are using, and you have 50 subscriber in one code unit. As in, I like the subscriber code unit to be smaller as they can be, so that I can
Okay.
reuse them. And the idea is, there are two models that I know. And if you have something else, we can surely talk about it. Model one, where people say that we'll use one code unit per base object where we want to subscribe. So if I want to subscribe to 5 events on report selection table, I'll create one code unit, and I'll say it table 77, which is report selection ID, subscribers, and then all the subscriber of report selection will reside inside this. That's one approach. The second approach, which matches more toward the SaaS environment, is that I might create one or more subscriber code unit, but they are not based on object. Like I said in the first example, they are
Mm.
actually based on this app. My
Okay.
app need 5 subscribers, and because I have so much code in those subscriber, I'm planning to create 2 code units or one code unit. It's up to you. So 50 to
Okay.
me seems huge code unit, and it is not a problem technically per se. But think about a situation where you have to debug that code or identify a problem in that code, how you will make it readable. But coming to your question, single instance, you should not make it. And you need to this is what I think. You need to understand the concept of single instance. As in, single instance keep your data in memory even if the code execution is completed and you are out of that code unit.
Mm.
If the 50 subscriber that you're talking about need to keep some data in the memory between the execution of the same code unit, and there are cases where it is needed, then you may make it single instance. Otherwise, if it just have subscriber, you don't have to make it single instance. Single instance has its own benefit and problems that you need to tackle with.
Okay.
So if there is actually a need to storing some values between two execution, then you might make it. But I'll
Mm.
rather make another code unit which I want to make single instance to keep it cleaner. But just to make, just because there are 50 subscriber, that doesn't qualify to make it as single instance. Let's put it this way.
Okay. We should not make a subscriber event already there, but we should not make as a single instance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
single instance is for something else. It
Yeah.
doesn't relate to even subscriber. So
Understood.
they're
Understood.
completely independent to each other.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? No? Okay. Thank you guys. Sorry to been over, for I guess approx 30 minutes nearly. So
Thank you so much, sir. We
Thank
had a
you.
nice session today.
Yeah.
then we'll see you next week.
Thank
See
you,
you next.
Yeah.
Saurabh.
Yeah. So if
Thank
you
you.
have questions, put them into meeting. We'll discuss them in next meeting.
Sure.
And again, happy Independence Day to everybody. See you next week.
Same to you.
Happy Independence Day to
Happy
you also.
Independence.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.